What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Sunday edition Morning Scone presented by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Appreciate y'all for being here with us on this gorgeous Sunday morning. God, it was hot yesterday. Hot this weekend, man. If you get outside, drink plenty of water. Try to find some shade if you can. Otherwise, stay inside. It's hot out there. LSU held its second scrimmage of fall camp. So fall camp is now officially over. Tigers will have the day off today, and then tomorrow, Monday, they begin preparation for UCLA. Next Saturday, they will have like a mock game where they'll do like a full walkthrough of a game, right? Coming out the tunnel and going to your sideline and how to handle all that game day routine and stuff like that. So, it's on for LSU UCLA now. All right. We are going to say some good mornings. If you're on Facebook, please like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post. If you're on YouTube, please smash that like button. Okay. Let's say some good mornings. We'll talk a little bit about this scrimmage that LSU held in Tiger Stadium. Obviously, I did not get to go. Talk to some people that did, and certainly listen to what Coach Joe had to say after the scrimmage yesterday, so we'll delve into that. Hey, Mario Collada, good morning. 12 days to kickoff, man. I'm excited. Chuck Sanchez, what's up, Chuck? Get it? Up, Chuck? Like 3 days in a row. How about that? Truax, what's up, man? Kelly Presley, Danny Braywick. Samuel Merrifield, did you see Aaron Nola strike out his brother? That would be Austin, by the way. Cool, by the way, is the Mariners outfielder Jake Fraley, a former Tiger. I should know that, but I'm getting old. Yes. Fraley he's got like a giant mountain man beard now. But yes, Jake Fraley played at LSU, played left field, and then moved to center his final season, or number 8, his final year. So yes, Fraley was a former Tiger. But very conflicting. I don't know if you saw the video of Aaron striking out Austin on 3 pitches, by the way. But they were in San Diego, where Austin plays with Padres, and Aaron, of course, plays with the Phillies. So the Phillies were in San Diego, and I can't believe it's the first time they faced each other. You would have thought there would have been a time where Aaron was getting a start against San Diego at some point, since Austin's been there, but I guess not. But it was interesting. They showed their parents in the stands, and their dad, Tweety, had on a Padres jersey and then had a Phillies jersey over it. So he was wearing 2 jerseys. I can imagine being so conflicted, man. But that had to be also kind of a cool moment too. And Aaron Nola, by the way, was perfect through 6 in that game yesterday. Whew. Andrew Bayer, good morning. Old news, but I was wondering if you had a chance to discuss Scott Cochran stepping back at Georgia. He goes to me in high school. I hated to hear the news. Yeah, man, it sounded like it was an anxiety type thing, not anything physical, which is, I guess, probably not that either reason would be good, but if he needed to take some time off, good for him for recognizing it and doing it. Georgia had Will Muschamp on staff as an analyst, so they just moved Muschamp up into Cochran's role on field. So he was the special teams coordinator. So, yeah, man, hope all's well there. Danny Braywick, I saw a highlight from Kyle Trask throwing a complete duck last night. I think your bet is safe. So Larry Holder and I have a bet as to whether or not Kyle Trask will be a starting quarterback in the NFL. I can't remember if it was like 3 years or 5 years or whatever it is, but if you just go to Twitter or anywhere around the internet or just any highlights from the Bucs game last night, you'll see Kyle Trask's throw last night. Let's see. Pat Husbid, good morning. Thomas Willie, good morning. Merrick Betherne, thank you. Like button smash. Bubba Tatum, Chet Buxton, Chase Duplantis, Tim Gotro. Kenneth Martin, good morning, Matt. What's the word about the game coming out of the LA media? So, I mean, are you talking about whether or not it's going to happen? Because, I mean, that's obviously going forward. I think we had the UCLA beat writer from the LA Times on AFR a week ago. And, I don't know how optimistic, the UCLA side is of winning the game. But they do look at this as sort of the breakout opportunity, if there is one, for Chip Kelly this year, because you got everybody back. They actually were better last year. You got a 4-year starter at quarterback, and they kind of look at it as this is the year to actually have on-field success. So, hey, look, they play a game in 6 days. I mean, we're going to get to see UCLA play against Hawaii, on Saturday. So we'll get a look at the Bruins before LSU heads out there. Bubba, watching the Nola brothers play each other last night was great. Aaron smoked Austin with 96 mile per hour high. Love seeing the Tigers and pros. Yeah, poor Austin. That's most hitters in Major League Baseball, and they're facing Aaron Nola right now, though. Andon Brabham, good morning. Jesse Brown, Todd G, Cliff Nelson, morning. Scone, E-Rock and Drew. E-Rock and Drew still sleeping. See if they make it up by the time we finish here today. Jesse Brown, good morning. Jeb Whitley, good morning, Scone family. Hope everyone is having a good weekend. Matt, have you ever had Midwinter Night's Dram Rye Whiskey Blend from High West? I mean, I think so. Now, were you talking about Act 6, Scene 5? Were you talking about Act 7, Scene 3? Or were you talking about Act 8, Scene 5? I don't know, Jeff. I guess it's tough to answer your question because I don't know, which Midwinter Night's Dram that you're talking about. I'm sorry. I had to, bro. I had to. Jim, have you ever had Midwinter Night's Dram? Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah, no, it's great. Midwinter Night's Dram is basically High West's Rendezvous Rye finished in different casks. So, it's fantastic. Yeah. Jeb, I had to flex on you, bro. I had the opportunity, so I did it. Let's see. Jesse Brown, morning, Matt. Saw the Saints sign safety Heath. Hang on. I don't. Saw the Saints sign safety Heath. Thoughts on him? Sorry, man. If this happened yesterday, I missed it. All right, Jeff Heath. This happened yesterday. All right. Jeff Heath played for the Raiders last year. Led the team to 3 picks. First 7 seasons with the Cowboys. A little surprised because I wouldn't think they need safety help with Malcolm Jenkins and Marcus Williams set as your starters, unless they feel like they have an opportunity to bring in a guy who can give them special teams play and valuable depth. I think that's all that is. I mean, your starters are set, and then you've also got C.J. Gardner-Johnson kind of as your nickel safety. So, I mean, don't think much of it. I mean, unless if somebody's hurt. Joseph Norton, morning, Matt. How about them flailing Phillies? Good for him, man. Oh, good for Nola. That's really the only thing I care about. Cliff's going with another. Scone with another. Have you heard of Whiskey Flex? I learned my lesson 2 weeks ago on a text. Old Carter. Yes, indeed. Can you call your post-game show Smokes and Rose? No, probably not. I mean, I do appreciate all the suggestions for names. I mean, if I had to guess, the chances are we just stick with Whiskey and Wine because it's branded and people know what it is and all that stuff. But I think most people that have made suggestions are finding out how tough it is to name something because, like, you have to explain what something is and have people know what it is. Or you have to have people know what it is without needing to explain it. Like, if you went with Smokes and Rose, like, I get the pun that you're going for, but like with boats and hose is what you're going for there, but nobody's going to understand that except a very small number that saw Step Brothers and would think that initially. It doesn't make sense. But I like it. I get what you're doing there. It's just, you know. Let's see. Brian Anypin, good morning from Champaign, Illinois, home of the college team. 9 more days till me and Eddie get on that big eagle, and we parachute into the Rose Bowl. I know you ain't parachuting into the Rose Bowl, but that is pretty cool. Yeah, man, Champaign. Him and Brett Bielema, new coach of the Fight Illini, and they open up Saturday against Nebraska. So you got a Big Ten game, Nebraska against Illinois this coming Saturday. And then, of course, UCLA, Hawaii would be the 2 biggest games of the weekend. Danny Braywick stat, cash track, Nola pitch as the 2 fastest of his career. Saw that. Yeah. He went over 96 miles an hour on the fastball to Aaron that he struck him out on. To Austin that they struck him out on. Andrew Bear, hopefully my all preseason betting luck spills over into the regular season. 9 out of 9. Hey, man, careful when you start flexing, man. As soon as you start talking about how great you've been doing, ooh, that's usually when you run into the wall. If I were you, cash out, Andrew. I mean, well, I wouldn't. Usually have some fun, but you know what I mean. Dale Broussard, did you see the kid pitching against Lafayette Little League? Dude has pitched over 575 postseason pitches, has allowed 1 hit. That's crazy. It was on TV while we were doing AFR, so Terry was kind of looking at it, but yeah, it was crazy. Chuck Thomas, yeah, how about that? Sha'Carri Richardson got smoked in that race yesterday. I don't know enough about, like, sprinting or whatever, obviously, but it was her first race since her suspension was lifted, and she finished dead last. The Jamaican women that finished 1, 2, 3 in the Olympics just smoked her. Everybody smoked her. But, I mean, obviously, maybe it's just from not having been in competition for however long, you know, whatever. But anyway, yeah, that was... Everyone was kind of like, okay, this is what it would have looked like in the Olympics had she actually been there, and then didn't go so great. I'm pulling for her, though. I also do understand the pun with Sha'Carri getting smoked. I get it. Michael Buchanan, hello from ATL. Marshall at Carolina is going to be a twice-a-year reminder the Saints draft misses. Yeah, So Michael, I really, really, really hate that comment. Like, I get it. I get it. LSU fans think the Saints should draft LSU guys with every damn pick. I get it. It's not smart. Okay, I'll step back. Because I have to do this every year around the draft. I can't believe I have to do this right now in August. Okay. When an NFL team is picking, they're not just looking at your favorite college team's players because of the proximity to the NFL team. They're looking at how they have their big board graded, positions of need, who's available when they pick. Terrace Marshall went 37th overall. The Saints were not taking him in round 1. Okay? Like, they didn't pick again until the back of round 2. The Saints went with Peyton Turner, which makes a lot of sense because you lost Trey Hendrickson in free agency. So you went and got your defensive end, who's also a guy that's versatile enough to kick inside and play tackle. That made sense. Just like everybody was bitched about not drafting Patrick Queen a year ago. I get it. But they also needed a starting offensive lineman because they were cutting Larry Warford, which they did a week later because it was a cap casualty, and they needed a starting interior lineman. So they got that with Cesar Ruiz. You can say you wish that he'd be on the team, and that's fine, but you can't call it a draft miss not drafting Terrace Marshall. That just doesn't make sense. I'm not yelling at you, Michael. I just get, no matter how much logic I try to inject in that conversation, LSU fans just don't get it. It's a banging your head against the wall because I get it. You're passionate about your team and you want to see LSU guys stay close to home and you think they could help the Saints. And certainly, like, would the Saints be great with Patrick Queen? Sure. But what would they have done last year on the interior of the line? In Drew Brees' final season, by the way. Or this year, Meanwhile, you got Demario Davis, who's one of the best linebackers in the NFL. And you brought Quan in last year as well. I just don't like the way you phrased it. Saints draft misses. Saints draft misses? Doesn't make sense. You can't draft every damn player. Hey, Dad, good morning. Kevin Boudreaux, Lafayette Little League won their elimination game. Good deal. I didn't watch, but good. I'm, of course, pulling for them. Hope they do great. Father John David III, good morning. Happy Lord's Day. Kicking off the morning with a little whiskey flex, I see. Yeah, I had to. Deborah Coward, good morning. Reagan Lee, headed to church in Jonesboro this morning to pray and read over my message. Morning, Matt. Good morning, Reagan. Brian Robert, good morning. Let's see, what's the key to watch tomorrow night with the Saints and Jags? Looking for less turnovers. Less turnovers for sure. I mean, if Jameis is going to get the start, so if he plays well, maybe Peyton goes and names him the starter, which is inevitable, by the way. Let's see if Quan Alexander plays. Let's see if Quan plays. I mean, he's been going full speed at practice in all the drills. Let's see if they run him out there. Want to see if Tony Jones can replicate his performance. From last week. Defensively, let's see that defensive line. I think you know what you got at linebacker. You know what you got at starting safety. I mean, we know what the issue is at corner, but you haven't added guys on that defensive front. So let's see if Malcolm Roach and Shai Tuttle and all those guys can perform well again this week. Hey, Kelly Gross, good morning. Andrew Bienvenu, good morning. Terrace Marshall wasn't picked one pick ahead of the Saints in round 2. Terrace Marshall went 37th overall. The Saints didn't pick until the end of round 2. They picked Pete Werner like 60th overall. That was their second round pick. They weren't even close to picking him. Hey, Kelly Gross, good morning. Andrew Bienvenu. And why would you draft a receiver when you have Michael Thomas? I mean, why would you use that high of a draft pick on a receiver when you're paying one of the best in the NFL? And this is before you knew Thomas was going to miss 7 weeks. Shelby, it's not that the Saints missed, it's that they don't draft LSU players and LSU fans get butthurt about it when they see LSU guys have success. That's just everywhere, man. That's just, I mean, I've done this so many times where I go, look, all right, how many times have the Miami Dolphins drafted Miami Hurricanes players? How many times have the LA teams drafted USC players? How many times have the Falcons drafted Georgia players? How many times have the Packers drafted Wisconsin players? Like, it doesn't happen. I mean, it's just not a common thing. Reagan Lee here in Emory and TDP didn't scrimmage is making me nervous. Nah, they were, look, I mean, you held those guys out because, well, TDP had kind of been banged up a little bit, and you don't want to get those guys injured. It was pretty clear that the way that they structured the scrimmage, we haven't even talked about this yet, but it's pretty clear the way they structured the scrimmage was, ones on ones and twos on twos, but they went heavy with the backups yesterday. Almost forgot. Airplane mode, so we don't get disturbed. When you looked at the stats, Nussmeier had 32 passing attempts. So, I mean, the backups played a ton in this game. They just didn't play the starters a bunch, and I think it was out of necessity, just making sure you keep your starters healthy. So, Max Johnson was 11 of 19 for 125 and a score. Nussmeier was 18 of 32 for 308 and 3 scores. So, obviously, he had a big ball in that. Josh Williams was the leading rusher, 7 carries, 66 yards, which is a heck of an average. Armani Goodwin had 25 yards on 6 carries, Kiner 15 yards on 5 attempts. But remember, like Devontae Lee was the leading receiver, Malik Neighbors and Deion Smith were next. It's just like you could tell they didn't go heavy with the starters because all the backups had the reps that accumulated the stats. What Ogeron said was that the defense, the first 2 series, ones on ones, twos on twos, the defense had the upper hand, and then the offense moved the ball ones on ones, twos on twos. And I'd be willing to bet that's when their day ended for the starters. So more than anything right now, I would say, obviously get healthy. You're not going to have Glenn Logan or Miles Brennan, probably not Garrett Dellinger. When we're talking about things that I wanted to see, we're talking about things that I wanted to see. I wanted to see the running backs, and wanted to see if the offensive line could have a better day. It seemed like they did. They said they still gave up some pressures, but Mason Smith had 3 sacks and Xavier Carter had 2. So again, those are guys that are rotational backup guys. Goes to show, man. LSU's deep on the defensive line and not on the offensive line. They need to get that to come around. Let's see. Danny Braywick, draft recap, say he went 59. I thought Terrace Marshall went 37. Either way, it went before the Saints picked. He was the 37th pick of round. No. Couldn't have been the 37th pick of round 2. Okay. So it was the 37th pick of round 2, I guess, because you had compensatory picks. Round 2, pick number 37, number 59 overall, Terrace Marshall. So it's the 37th pick of the second round. That doesn't make sense. Either way, still went before the Saints picked. Where are we? Mark Allen, change it to Here Comes 60, Ride Up Your Donkey. Change Whiskey and Wine to Here Comes 60, Ride Up Your Donkey. Just play the clip on loop. Morning, Matt. Will LSU win 10 games this year? Charlie, I think they go 9-3. If they win a bowl game, I think get to 10. Cliff Nelson, smash the like button. Thank you. Charlie Broussard, Shakira gets moved. Murder Giraffe, Saints LSU fans want the Saints to be NFL LSU. I mean, I get it. I do. I get it. I mean, I would love to see these guys play for the Saints. I get it. It just doesn't always work that way in the draft, and it's not that the Saints hate LSU. It's like to just think about that for a second is fundamentally absurd. To think like an NFL team with these coaches and general managers that are scouting and trying to pick the best players possible to give themselves a chance to win games, and how they're formulating their roster, they're going to go, oh, we don't like that school, which has churned out gobs of NFL talent. It's just stupid. It's nonsensical. It is an illogical thought to think that the Saints just don't draft LSU players because they don't like LSU. It's just stupid. It's almost like Vegas. Like, Vegas doesn't set point spreads based on where they went to school. They only care about money and winning. It's the same thing in the NFL. Like, you pick the best player at the position of need. Stephen Upshaw, more Matt. Feeling any better about Nussmeyer's the number 2? Not really. He's a true freshman. So I don't really care what you do in a scrimmage. I mean, I hope you don't have to play a true freshman. I don't think that's a great recipe. I mean, I think he'll be a good player in time, but do I think that LSU is going to reach lofty heights if they had a true freshman playing quarterback? No, same as last year. Merrick Mathur and Matt, do you have a location to do AFR on Friday before the game? Not yet, Merrick. So here's what we're working through. I am staying at the Lowe's Hotel in Hollywood. We're attempting to do the shows from the Lowe's, like in their atrium. Well, the Lowe's won't allow us to do that because we have TV, and they couldn't get consent, like if people were walking in the back and ended up on TV. So they won't let us broadcast in their atrium. So they said, look, you could rent or reserve like a conference room, and you could do the show in there, and then you could invite people to come watch or whatever. And then there's these big glass walls where you can have your backdrop be the landscape of Los Angeles, and that's appealing. But they want to charge us like $750 a day, and so guarantee is going, do we really want to spend $750 a day for a broadcast location? So then they talked about just doing the shows like in my room, but then I'm like, well, Hester and T-Bob are going to be on at 5 a.m. Pacific. You're telling me they're going to be in my room at on air at 5 a.m.? I'm like, no thanks. And then obviously there's the opportunity to be at Kent Tracy's house, which would look awesome, and I would love to do it. We wouldn't be able to like invite scores of people to the Tracy's home, but and then the pregame show, we kind of have the same issue. Do we do it from the hotel, or do we do it at the Rose Bowl? And I think we might be able to swing doing it like outside at the Rose Bowl at the tailgate party that's being set up for like the big LSU tailgate party. So that may be the better opportunity for everybody. Jeb Whitley, Matt, I've heavy on Cardano, Solana, Ethereum in my crypto portfolio. You got your eye on particular tokens or projects in the crypto space? I am invested in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. I'm not so much interested in altcoins. Not to say I wouldn't be at some point. But while there is massive gain potential, there's also risk in losing with those. And the other 3 just aren't going to lose. So that's where I am. Cliff Nelson, did you see the roundhouse kick for the KO in the UFC? I did. Jesse Brown, Matt, reading reports Juwan Johnson may start over Troutman. Think that's possible? Possible, sure. I don't think it's likely, but I think Juwan Johnson's going to make the team, and I think he'll play. Need pass catchers, needs a big target, and he's been really good. He said LA Kings. Who are we talking about? Marshall at 59th. Yeah. Eric Wilderwater, Panthers actually traded in front of us. There was chatter, we're taking Marshall. If that makes the guy feel any better. I get missing on a player. I scratch my head at lack of positional focus where we need it. Like we knew we'd be in trouble at corner, yet we only take 1 corner. I get not prioritizing wide receiver. But they did take a corner, and they took Paulson Adebo, and he's a guy that they think can be a starter. But in round 1, they look and they say, where's our value? I'm sure they thought if they needed a corner, they could get one in free agency. And remember, they kept coming up empty. Like, they were looking at Richard Sherman. And, I mean, they go through the list of corners that the Saints have been associated with or tied to this offseason. They just haven't landed one. I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about this anymore. I'm so over this conversation. The season's still, like, Saints play a preseason game tomorrow. LSU plays football in 13 days. I am so over the I'm not doing the draft convo. I'm not doing that anymore. So please don't comment on that anymore. I have no interest. Like, let's talk about who is there and ahead. Next year, y'all can bring up the same stupid comments about why the Saints don't draft LSU players and get me all pissed off again. Josh Faust, why is the name of the post-game show changing? Because Jordy no longer works at Guarantee. So it's, I mean, I guess we can keep it whiskey and wine, but it's going to be me and Rohan this year. Truax need to host a Hudco preseason party at Pluckers before the season. Maybe so, Truax. We're still waiting on our hats, man. It has been very difficult getting this order filled. I mean, production everywhere is down, slow, and we haven't been able to get new hats in months. Sucks. We've lost a lot of momentum with the Hudco hat. I mean, as much as people, but dude, literally yesterday, it's a funny story. I'm at a store, and a guy stops me and he goes, "Oh, is that a Hudco hat?" I was like, "Yeah, it is." I was like, "Do you know the guys involved?" He goes, "No." "Are you Matt?" I was like, "Yeah, I am." He goes, "Oh man," it's like, "I listen to you every day, but I'll listen, so I don't ever get to see you. I listen when I cut grass or whatever." So he stopped and chatted for a while. So he didn't recognize me. He recognized the Hudco hat. Man, I wish we still had gobs of them to give away, man. We had some great momentum with everybody wanting them and asking about them and wearing them and posting pictures on the internet and all the social channels, and we had some great organic momentum, but it came to a screeching halt, so I don't have any more hats. I mean, a lot of y'all have been asking me about hats, and I told you I'd get them, and I can't send you a hat I don't have, you know. I don't think you want this one with all my my DNA in the front. Jeb, sorry, Matt. Sorry. Do you think Finley regrets transferring to Auburn? Jeb, Finley didn't want to transfer. His parents made him transfer. So go back and listen to the interview if you have time that I did with TJ after he announced he was leaving LSU. He says, and I'm paraphrasing, sometimes your parents think they know what's best for you, even though they don't, but you do it because they're your parents. He did not want to leave LSU. There's a lot of circumstances involved, but he did not want to leave, and that was a decision largely made by his parents. And I don't know if he regrets it, because I think certainly with Brennan's injury, he would have had a chance to battle with Max for the starting job. And but I also think that in Brian Harson's offense at Auburn, he may fit really well. I know Bo Nix has played for 3 years there, but I don't think Bo Nix has proven he's a championship caliber quarterback. So, if Finley can beat him out, it would not surprise me. Colton Mack, yo, Matt, is whiskey and wine dead? It's funny how much I get asked about that. We're still going to do a post-game show, but it'll be me and Rohan from Don Juan. Let's see, Brian, who's the running back that scored on the long run for a TD last week for the Saints? I guess you're talking about Tony Jones, second-year player out of Notre Dame. He's going to make the team. If he makes through the next 2 weeks of preseason healthy, he'll make the team as the number 3 running back. Mike Tiger 24TB. What's done is done. It's what it is. Time to play football. Thank you. Colton Mack. Can you and Jordy not do media anymore? Right. Like Jordy doesn't work at Guarantee anymore. So technically, he would be viewed as a competitor. So yeah, we can't. Is Russ going to be on Wednesday? He is, Brian. I talked to Russ yesterday. Russ Mitchell. I will crank up this week with Russ, and then I'm going to see Russ in LA. He's going out there with his wife, Kim, and his daughter, Claire, and he and I are going to have dinner on Thursday, and we're going to sit together at the game as well. So I'm really, really excited to see him. Cliff, still waiting on the morning scone social brunch. Let's go. We could do that one day. We could do like a morning, all meet up somewhere and do a morning scone brunch or something like that. Randy Dabdoob, does LSU have a quarterback competition brewing? I don't think so, Randy. You can't look at, and I know as tempting as it is, like you can't look at scrimmage stats because, and I know it's tempting, but you can't look at, like, for example, 11, so Max was 11 of 19, right? 11. You can't look at 11 of 19 for 125 and a score, and Nussmeier 18 of 32 for 308 and 3 scores. You can't look at that and process it in the way that we process football stats. What I mean is, like, when a game ends and you see if a quarterback goes 24, 32 for 308 and 3 scores, you're like, damn, what a day. But you're thinking in context of a 4-quarter football game. Like, this was a situational scrimmage where we don't know how long Max played versus Garrett, ones versus twos. We also don't know if it was situational. Like, the 3 scores could have been in goal line situations where, you're throwing passes from the 2-yard line. Maybe you had 15 plays at the goal line and you threw 3 touchdowns in those 15 plays. You know what I mean? Like, so you just, I guess my point is, like, you can't just look at stats and draw conclusions from them in terms of how we normally process stats. But no, there's no quarterback competition. It's Max Johnson's team. I just hope he stays healthy, because if anything happens to him, then you're down to Garrett Nussmeier and a walk-on. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I thought there was a storyline out of the draft that they were tipped down. Dylan Landry, morning, Matt. Hope y'all had a great week. Hope Drew's doing great as well. Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate that. We did. Drew's doing fantastic. He's loving being back at school, the new St. Lillian. Daniel Elson, we all be able to do whiskey and wine. I feel like I should walk around with a shirt, and no disrespect to you, Daniel. I understand you asking, but I should just walk around with a shirt that says, Jordy cannot be on whiskey and wine anymore. Like, no, we're not. Like, it'll be me and Rohan doing the post-game show from Don Juan. If we call it whiskey and wine or something else, we don't know. But since Jordy's no longer working at Guarantee, we can't do the show together. And it's okay. Like, I know. But I literally, y'all, when I say literally, I mean that in a literal sense. I get asked about it every single day. Like, every single day, I get asked about whiskey and wine. Which is great. It goes to show what type of impact we made. We started in 17, so 17, 18, 19. So we did 4 years. The amount of, as culturally significant as that was for LSU fans, it became the place everybody went for postgame. Astonishing how many people watched that silly thing. But, it'll be different this year, but hopefully I'll still watch. It'll be me and Ro. Jed, Matt, will you ever do a standalone podcast like what Ryan Russillo does? I realize you're not exactly swimming in lots of free time with all the content you put out already. I mean, I do a podcast, Jeb, called Locked on LSU. So, I, I, I don't listen to Russillo's podcast, and it's not against Ryan. I think Ryan's does a really good job. I just don't really listen to sports podcasts. I've kind of talked about that a little before. So I don't know if there's something different with Russillo there. I mean, if you're asking me, like, would I ever leave radio, like terrestrial radio, to just do a podcast? I mean, if if crypto booms and all of a sudden I'm a Bitcoin billionaire and I don't have to do a 3-hour radio show every single day, I wouldn't. I would just do a podcast whenever I wanted to do it. I would just create my own stuff digitally and put out content that way. I don't know if that's what you're asking. Matt, with some of the new NCAA rules for college rosters in the future, when a player like Finley transfers, will LSU be able to replace his spot on the roster? So that's what they're proposing. And we had Dellinger on AFR Friday because he had the report. But basically what's happening, for those who don't know, like with the transfer portal, what's happening is that rosters are very thin because guys are transferring out and you can still only sign an initial 25. So think of it this way. You're hard capped at 25 members of a signing class. So over 4 years, that's 100 players, and you can only have 85 on scholarship. So you're going to have natural attrition. Guys that leave early for the NFL, guys that transfer, medical DQs, whatever it is, right? Guys kicked off the team. You have to have that natural attrition. But what's happened now with the transfer portal is, especially the immediate eligibility of guys leaving, with guys leaving at a higher rate, you don't have enough spots in your signing class to make up for that. And what's happening consequently is coaches are signing fewer high school guys to leave spots for transfers. For example, this past class, LSU only signed 22 high school players because they had Bug Strong from JUCO, and then they took Mike Jones and Major Burns. So fewer high school prospects are being signed and to leave room for transfers. So what's being proposed is expanding maybe like a player for player spot if a player willingly leaves your program. Not if you kick somebody out, but like if TJ Finley transfers out, LSU would be able to replace that scholarship. They would get an extra spot, and it would be capped maybe like what Ross wrote was like, what if it was capped at like 7? So the most that you could get to is like 32. But that could bring, your numbers back in line. Interesting times. I don't know how interested everyone is in that, but it definitely will matter for the coaches, and I think more so even for high school players to get that opportunity. Danny Braywick, love Russ Mitchell's intro. If you have a nickname, you're good. Thomas Willie, did you see women's basketball got another former 5-star transfer, Alexis Morris? I did. They're going to be good, man. Colton Mack, Jordy, and Matt was a great combo. Sad to hear it isn't happening. Me too, man. I love doing that. Mike Tiger 24 TB Whiskey and Wine was the best post-game show. Cut straight to the chase, no BS. Say it like it is. And we got to curse, which was fun. Kenneth Martin, I'm sorry if I'm not aware of the situation. Why did Jordy leave the company? I never found out what happened. It wasn't a mutual parting. But there wasn't. It's not. I'm not at liberty to talk about it. I mean, it's not. It just, that's not my business. I know that there isn't anything initial. I know there isn't any initial scholarship limits for basketball. But by the way, there was nothing like wrong. Like it wasn't like something like Jordy didn't get caught doing something. It wasn't anything nefarious like that or anything. So, anyway. I know there isn't any initial scholarship limits for basketball, but how does Wade make room for a player like Justice Williams? Do we just have a spot? They don't have a spot. So they will have to get down before the season. Let's see. Whoops. Let's see, basketball roster. I'm pretty sure they did not have a spot. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Is Spencer Mays a scholarship or a walk-on? If he's a walk-on, then they're at 13. They have the spot. Oh, he's the transfer from BRCC. Is he a walk-on? I don't know if he's a walk-on or if he has a scholarship. I guess that's the point. If Spencer Mays is walking on, then they're fine. They're at 13. If not, then they need to cut somebody. But if Mays is a walk-on, then let's see. Let me see. Yeah, so if Spencer Mays is a walk-on, they're good at 13. I just haven't asked Eric. I mean, that's got to be my assumption that they had the spot, which is why they were able to add Justice Williams. Let's see. What are the realistic expectations for LSU basketball this upcoming season? Mike Tiger 24 TB. Go back to Friday's AFR. Look, you're on YouTube already. Go to Friday's AFR. Midway point of the show, midway through hour 2, I made my LSU basketball prediction for the season. I'm not going to tell you. Go watch it. Midway point of the show from Friday. Go watch it. Jeb Whitley. Matt, have you seen Walker Howard play in person? I know he's the #1 quarterback in the country. Sounds like a great blend of athleticism. I have. I've seen him play against Catholic. And yeah, I mean, he's a great player. I think, great player, great family. I think Jamie has done a great job keeping him humble and grounded. And, I guess knowing Jamie a little bit, talking to him, and I know it's awkward for him. He's not the guy that would just brag on his kids, but when you kind of pull it out of him, it's, the thing he'll say is, listen, if Walker never plays a down at he told me this on air, he said, if Walker never plays a down at LSU, the team will still be better because he's on the team, because he's that kind of guy, and that kind of leader, that kind of, encouragement, all that sort of stuff. So, I'm just mostly interested, with respect to, Walker and the quarterback situation, to see how it plays out because of attrition at the position. People are excited about Max Johnson. You're getting excited about Nussmeier. You're going to be excited about Walker, coming in next year. But look at what just happened. You had 2 freshmen a year ago, and Finley's already out, and now Miles Brennan's hurt. The position is such that you have so much attrition. It's just unlikely that we see Max Johnson as the starter for the next 3 years, and then Nussmeier's a starter for 2 or 3 years, and then Walker Howard waits 3 or 4 years for his turn, and then starts it. It's you know what I mean? It's just there's just natural attrition that happens. You're just not going to see all of those guys have a full career at LSU. It just doesn't happen. I mean, the last quarterback, didn't we go through this? The last quarterback that signed with LSU that finished his eligibility was Jordan Jefferson as a quarterback. Russell Shepard, but didn't play quarterback. But everybody else that signed coming out of high school with LSU haven't finished their eligibility at LSU. So, it's kind of the nature of the position, Let's see. Thomas Willie, will Haney be doing stuff for LSU games tonight? April 1, or is he completely out? He is. So here's how game day is going to work, y'all. So pregame will start 5 hours prior to kickoff, and it'll be me and Jeremy Hill. So we will do, so hypothetically 7 o'clock game. We'll start at 2, and Hill and I will go from 2 to 5. Then we'll go to the network pregame from 5 to 7. We will not do a scoreboard show this year like T-Bob and I have been doing. Then you'll have the game. No companion show this year either. Immediately after the game, Ro and I will do whiskey and wine, or whatever we call it. And then, for 90 minutes, and then 90 minutes from that point, Hanny and T-Bob will do post game. Hey, bud.
Say hi, Dad.
Hey, bud. Hi, Drew. You want to come say hi to Dad's show?
He wants to watch Dad's show on his phone.
Oh, he wants to watch the show on the phone. So he's going to go in the other room and watch the show on the phone. All right. Jeb, great way to start a Sunday. Thanks for all you do, Matt. Have a great Sunday. Thank you, Jeb. Appreciate it. And sorry I got testy earlier about the draft thing. I'm like so full speed into season, football season mode now. And it's like we came to a screeching halt to unearth a conversation from 4 months ago. It pisses me off when we have it to begin with. Anyway, so sorry about that. Hoont Palmario. What's up, Hoont Palmario? Greetings from Hilton Head. All right. Tell you what, a week and a half and Hoont's already taken vacation. Tell you what, this guy just grinding for a week and a half and then's got to fly out of town, go play some golf. I know you. I'm sure you had it already scheduled, Hoont. I'm just joking. Hit him straight. Have a great time. We'll see you back. Gotta get it in before season starts. I get it, man. Jake Lopez, are we still expecting full capacity and some sort of normalcy this season? Absolutely, Jake. I mean, every conversation I've had is they are not shutting down again. They are not limiting attendance, capacity, all that stuff. Tailgating is full go. And the really good news, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but in the past couple of days, you've seen the hospitalizations tick down. And I had a conversation about 3 weeks ago, which makes sense now, which said with a high-ranking state medical official, let's say that, who said to me, I think this is about 3 weeks ago, said it's going to get worse for about 2 more weeks, and then you're going to start to see it burn off if it follows the trends that we've seen in other places. So, I mean, a virus doesn't just settle. It moves. If it migrates, it runs its course. A virus runs its course, and then it moves or mutates or goes different. It's going to move. So that's kind of what you're seeing right now is remember how we would have those spikes, right? It would level off. I think it's actually following pretty much what they thought it would, which is we did get worse for about 2 more weeks, and then the last couple of days we're starting to see the cases decrease. So hopefully over the next 2 weeks, as we close to the season, we continue to see that drop off, which would be fantastic to see. Eric, how tired of you of answering the same 5 questions every day? Does this happen every year? I guess we just need the season to start. Yes, Eric, it does. The 2 weeks or so before the season suck because I end up repeating myself so much that I actually feel bad for the audience because I'm like, are y'all hearing me say the same thing every day? And I understand, especially the way the nature that radio works, that people are in and out of the car. There was someone who just asked me about how good do I think the basketball team will be? Well, Friday I did this big over the top segment on the show about the basketball team, but not everybody heard it or saw it or whatever. So I think the key is to try to answer it like it's the first time that you've been asked. But the whiskey and wine thing, at this point, I've been asked it literally every day for months now. So, but whatever, man. I'd rather that than nobody watch, right? I'd rather that than nobody listen or ask questions. It's all about viewership for Drew. Smash the like button. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's see. 45 watching, only 29 likes on YouTube. See if we can get that up if you would. Smash that like button. As always, shout out to Brock, Boundaries Orthopedic Clinic. Remember, the After Hours Clinic is open today. And Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Need a roof? Call Hudco. Go to hudcoroofing.com. Would love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Jeffrey, Matt, what are your thoughts on Garrett getting more pass attempts in the scrimmage than Max? He played longer. I'm sure that's all it was, that they let the starters go. It seemed like they went ones on ones, twos on twos, ones on ones, twos on twos, and my guess is his day ended. So that's all there is to it. Just played the young guys longer. Peter Adams, if you're repeating yourself, it means college football is around the corner, then blab away. Noted. Craig Duga. How good will the basketball team be? We ride, boss. Craig, I know you were watching on Friday. I hope you were anyway. I think you were. Matt, can you do a companion show for the game tomorrow? Maybe so. Kyle, not a bad idea. Do a Saints companion show. Let's see if they start at 7:30. I don't know if they start at regular Monday Night Football time. They start at 7. Okay, so I can get home. I can get home in time for that. Yeah, do me a little companion show. I like that. It's a good idea. But I'll only be, remember, on one platform, like with the baseball companion shows, which means I'll only be on the Matt Moscone YouTube channel for that. So make sure if you're on Facebook, you subscribe up to the Matt Moscone YouTube channel for the companion show. Let's see who else I can get maybe to jump on with us during the game. Muso the pothead. Poor Muso. We basically had him labeled as a pothead on Friday's show. Poor guy. Oh, man. All right, y'all. I think we're done. We're done, I think. All right. And no trivia today. How about that? Sunday, no trivia. Disappointing. All right. Over under Saints turnovers tomorrow. Let's go 2.5. Over under set it at 2.5. 6 is an outlier, man. They ain't going to do that again. Especially if that's just such the focus this week. Jake Lopez, hearing a lot about the freshman receiver stepping up big during camp. Looks like Max is going to have a young crop of studs as options. Hearing anything like that? Yeah, man. Brian Thomas is the guy leading the way. I think your number one guy obviously be Keyshawn Keyshawn Butte. They told me. I guess I was saying Butte. It's Butte. Keyshawn Butte. Hey, babe. Yeah, so Keyshawn Butte, Brian Thomas, Jeray Jenkins, I think are probably your top 3 guys. Let's see who else gets in the mix after that. But yeah, the young guys are doing well. Just where the rep's going to be. Cliff Nelson wants some Ask E-Rock. I tell you what, if y'all have Ask E-Rock questions, I'm about to shut this thing down. So if you have Ask E-Rock questions, you better fire away. Go. Eric and I had some musical theory lessons yesterday. Are we doing Ask E-Rock?
Did we do it yesterday?
Yeah. Oh, you don't want to do it today?
They don't want to, is this?
Maybe not. Okay. No. Just watch your LSU basketball prediction. Was grinning and laughing the entire segment. Great stuff. For those who missed up, predicted LSU to go to the Final Four this year. And I'll stand by it. I think LSU basketball is going to go to the Final Four. I had fun with that segment, though, too. All right, y'all, we are done. Y'all have an awesome Sunday, and be good to each other, and we'll be back tomorrow for Morning Scone. Locked on LSU podcast. If you're not subscribed, please do. AFR, all that stuff. We appreciate y'all for being here. Okay, Have a great Sunday, everyone. Peace.